Arena, next Saturday at Panther Arena, and then the following Friday in Baltimore, actually the Sekou Arena in Towson, Maryland, the home field of the Baltimore Blast. So this will be certainly a good test for both teams to see where exactly they stand in the pecking order here in the MASL's Eastern Conference.
Well, it's huge. It's a huge three-game series certainly for the Wave, but for both teams as they're trying to get home field advantage in the playoffs. If you get into the semifinal round and then ultimately the final round, those are one-game series. It's not even a series; it's just one game. And so you'd like to have that game at home. And so these three games are going to be really the determining factor to see who gets home field advantage.
And I guess if you're either club, you couldn't ask for anything more at this time of year as far as determining that possible seeding advantage. Milwaukee coming off win over the St. Louis Ambush 7-5 a couple of weeks ago. Baltimore, meanwhile, coming off an 8-7 overtime victory against Syracuse last week. Blast has done well to adjust here on the fly. Their starting goalkeeper and arguably candidate for league MVP, William Van Zela, out with a groin injury. So they've gone with the veteran Joey Capinos, who was not even with the organization until a few weeks ago. But he's been around this league for a while, and he's done well in the league, and he's played well for the Blast.
Yeah, you talk about a perfect fit to jump into the Blast net. It would be Joey Capinos, East Coast native out of Massachusetts. He was 12-7 last year with Ontario, so with the 3-0 start here with the Blast, he's 15-7 in his last 22. And Joey Capinos is a guy, as you said, he's a veteran presence. Doesn't get rattled. He had about a high 5 goals against average in Ontario. It's 4.5 here in Baltimore. So Van Zela was 4.1. Capinos is 4.5. They really haven't missed a beat with that transition.
Blast, of course, a solid team. They're the two-time defending league champions. They've been in the league championship series 3 straight years and basically have the same core players they've had since they entered this league in 2014-15. Meanwhile, the Wave has continued to roll along after the 13-game winning streak to open the season. Lost 3 in a row, but then they've won the last 2. And for the most part, they've done pretty well this season. Of course, anchored by their goalkeeper, Josh Lemos, and then the IMAX tandem up front, Ian Bennett and Max Ferdinand.
Yeah, and really, you talk about both teams, and the injury bug has set in for both teams. We got Van Zela and Lucas Roque, 2 guys out for Baltimore, but then Andre Hain and Robert Renaud for the Wave. And so the depth has been depleted a little bit, but the big guys today for the Wave, Marcio Leite and Max Ferdinand, the last 3 games, they only have 1 point between the 2 of them, and Max and Marcio are going to be a big factor whether this team is successful today. Marcio, in the past, has been a really thorn in the side of the Baltimore Blast. We've seen him time and time again have great games against the Blast, and the Wave's going to need Marcio to really assert himself offensively if they want to be successful today.
One of the longest rivalries in all of indoor soccer gets set to renew again today as the Milwaukee Wave takes on the Baltimore Blast. We'll come back with more. This is Wave Soccer. Welcome to the...
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Merton Intermediate School Choir and our national anthem.
And so we are just about ready to go with the video flyover of the Blue Angels. Tom went along with the Wave Hall of Famer Art Kramer as we get ready for what should be a great match between the Milwaukee Wave and the Baltimore Blast. These 2 longtime rivals who have been battling each other since 1992, going back to the days of the Baltimore Spirit in the old NPSL. They became the Blast prior to the 98-99 season in honor of the original Baltimore Major Indoor Soccer League team.
And they have done battle during these past 25-plus seasons, a total of 87 times. Wave leads the season series, 51-36. That includes postseason, with a 32-10 edge here in Milwaukee. So the Wave at 14-3 this year, are 8-0 at home, hoping to see if they can continue the home mastery of the Blasts. But it's not going to be easy. Baltimore at 14-2, and they also are undefeated at home at 9-0, 5-2 on the road. In fact, Baltimore has not had a losing season on the road the past 7 years, considering they've won several championships during that time. I guess that's not all that surprising, but Danny Kelly's team always ready to play, whether it's in Baltimore or away from Baltimore.
Well, Baltimore has been involved in 10 one-goal games this season, Tom. They've won 8 times. And, hey, that's testimony to Coach Danny Kelly, David Bascombe. They bring a level of composure that is unseen in the Major Arena Soccer League, and that starts with Danny Kelly. You watch him on the bench, he'll have his hands in his pockets, doesn't get too excited about things. You see him shaking hands right there with Tenzin Rampa and Ryan Sigich, one of our officials. But Danny and David do an outstanding job of preparing this team, and they come out and play with a great amount of calm and composure, and that's one of the reasons they've been so successful in one-goal games.
Probably one of the reasons why Danny Kelly doesn't have any gray hairs is because he's so calm and composed. I was talking to our producer, Ian Thompson, before. I said, Danny looks just as young, if not younger, than when he first started coaching the Blast 12 years ago.
When he first started coaching the Blast 12 years ago, there was a faction of fans that wanted Danny Kelly to be fired early on, and what a mistake that would have been had Kevin Healy, the general manager, and Hale, the owner, would have decided to get rid of Danny Kelly. Arguably he's turning into one of the greatest indoor soccer coaches in the history of the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And his counterpart, of course, is forging his reputation as a coach now in his 4th season with the Wave, Giuliano Oliviero, after a storied career, mostly with the Wave. There you get a look at Giuliano, and 3 straight seasons at 13-7, with at least one playoff victory every year during that span. 14-3 this year, leading the Wave to a season-opening 12-game winning streak before they dropped 3 in a row and then bounced back to win the last 2. But
sorry, Tom, I didn't get a chance to speak to Danny Kelly, but I know that if I did, he would have said these things. We're going to have to come in here, get 5 behind the ball. We're going to have to keep good possession of the ball for long periods of time. And we're going to have to be good on special teams, restart some power plays.
Blast take the kick. They go right to left as we look at the action. There is their goalkeeper, Joey Capinos, veteran out of Southern New Hampshire. Ball played in down low, and I believe that was Pereira who was trying to see if he could possibly bicycle it past the goalkeeper, Josh Lemos, with Josh able to hang on. Milwaukee on the attack. Stuart Grable, a 3rd-year veteran out of Neenah, Wisconsin, and UW Green Bay, lays it back for Lemos. Josh, a 2nd-year indoor pro from the province of Quebec in the great country of Canada. And speaking of Canada, we welcome those of you who may be tuning into today's game. Pereira takes a check into the board, no call, as Milwaukee will start it out. So wherever you may be, tuning us in today on Wave Soccer and MASL TV in the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, the state of Wisconsin, the United States of America, the North American continent, the planet Earth, the International Space Station, or worlds beyond, welcome one and all. And please set your mobile app to whatever language interpretation you need, but the action should pretty much tell you what's going on.
And that would include our fans in Baltimore, in Charm City, if you will, a place that we've spent a lot of time over the years, Tom.
One of the great places to visit.
The Inner Harbor in Baltimore's beautiful city.
Absolutely. We've had many a dinner out there, and
tried not to mix it up with the locals. They're a lot tougher than we are.
Yeah, Baltimore and Philly were one place, a couple of places we didn't try to mix it up too much with the locals. We like to interact with them, but not mix it up too much. Blast in white, they go right to left on the black field. The only one of its kind here at the UW Milwaukee Panther Marina in Milwaukee. And you see Daniel Chamali, another Canadian native in his 2nd year with the Wave. Watch him get hammered on our Wisconsin Vision instant replay as Jamie Thomas battling for the ball there.
Jamie Thomas, number 17 for the Blast, doing his best to try to get out of the way there, turned his back a little bit and avoided any more serious contact.
Thomas, a former star at St. John's, New York, now in his second year of the Blast. Here's Tenzin Rampa, captain of the Wave, takes a shot. And a good stop by Capinos, as he's already got a State Farm Insurance save of the game right there.
Capinos did a nice job to come out and cut down the angle of Rampa there. Lucky Capinos didn't get his hands on it as he was just outside the area.
Joey, not a big guy. They list him, I believe, only at 5'9", but he has cat-like quickness.
That is a generous 5'9", I might say, Tom. I'd say more like 5'7", 5'8".
Here's Max Ferdinand, former member of the Blast, played his first 6 years with the Blast before coming to Milwaukee, now in his third campaign. Max, the league's leading playmaker, fifth leading scorer with 37 points. Of course, leading scorer for the Wave is Ian Bennett with a total of 53 points on the year, 43 goals, and 10 assists. Number 2 in the league behind Sonora's Frank Teo, who has 57 points. Speaking of Ian, there he is right there. The 12-year veteran out of Marion College in Indianapolis, Indiana. Ball whacked out of play to the near side, and Wave will come back with it. Jonatas Mello putting that one into the Wave bench. Lemos coming up. Again, Josh not afraid to join the attack. He has 3 goals, 8 assists this year. By far the leading goal scorer, leading scorer among goalies in the league. Hans Dennison comes in, cracks a left footer, and the Dutch native turned away by Capinos. Again, William Van Zela missing his 4th consecutive game for the Blast due to a groin injury suffered last month. But the Blast picked up Joey Capinos, who was an unsigned free agent, and he's moved right in and played well. Capinos 3-0 with a 4.53 goals against average and a .745 save percentage, which would be second in the league if he had enough minutes to qualify. Marcio out high, trying to work against Mello. Marcio coming in, he's tripped down, foul is called.
And unfortunately for the Wave, that's not a 2-minute penalty because Leite had his man beaten, Melo beaten. Watch right here, that trip right there. That's very close to being a 2-minute penalty.
From the restart, Marcio has had a fine campaign for the Wave. 3rd leading scorer with 29 points, lays it out. Ian Bennett's gonna crack a shot. And that one turned away from the far post. Looked like Irvin Santana was able to get there. Nelson Santana, I should say.
Good job that time by Santana to rotate to the back post. I think that shot was going just wide, but good positioning by the veteran Santana.
39-year-old native of Oakland, California, broke into this league with the old Stockton Thunder. Marcio will lay it off for Daniel Chamale, working across to Ricardinho. Brazilian native, Ricardinho, now in his 2nd campaign with the Wave. He's got 9 goals, 9 assists after a 2-9 rookie season. Now Lemos had it knocked away by Santana, but a foul going to be called on Baltimore.
Good call that time as Santana almost got the steal from Lemos, but then watch him grab the jersey of Lemos right here at the end of the play. Well, actually, it may have been Lemos that grabbed Santana's jersey as I looked at it on the replay.
Josh may have gotten away with one there. Blast cleared upfield. Lemos will get there. Josh, again, not afraid to handle the ball against defensive pressure. Certainly not afraid to take it all the way up into the attacking zone.
And Baltimore holding nothing back here defensively, going after the Wave with high pressure all over the field in the early going.
Now Donatelli will put the pressure on Lemos. Looks for Jonathan Santos. Near wing, Chamale trying to get up near the boards, is bumped off the play. They play on. Vega trying to come up with it. Now Ricardinho with it, trying to press up on the left side. Boy, what a reception by Max as he turns on the left foot, fires a shot. And Capinos makes a save, again getting dangerously close to the edge of the penalty area.
Believe that might have been Peruzzi, Tom, in behind Capinos that kicked that one away.
3-2 for the Blast. Donatelli in the middle. He looks the near wing. Trying to make a connection there with Pereira. Couldn't quite do it. Wave will move out of the zone. Here's Drew Ruggles. Drew, the third-year pro out of Georgia Southern, gets the return pass. Coming up against Andrew Hoxie. Ruggles trying to lay it off the middle for Marcio or Hans Dennison. Dennison comes up with it. Shot is off the mark. And Donatelli will take it. The veteran from Temple University. Getting wrapped up by Ruggles. No call as Ruggles able to play it to the near side. Officials letting the boys go at it a little bit here in the early going.
Baltimore second in the league defensively, Tom, and what's so impressive about that is the arena that they play in now in Baltimore, the Seco Arena, is the smallest venue in the league. And for them to post a 4.7 or so goals against average is unbelievable.
Shot by Dennison off the frame, and it's up into the stands, and we'll have our media timeouts. Well, this will give us a chance to tell you that the Wave would like to thank Mitre USA for providing today's match balls. Mitre, founded in Huddersfield, England, is among the world's oldest sporting goods brands, starting production in 1817. Mitre is a proud partner of the Major Arena Soccer League, providing arena-specific match balls to both the MASL and MASL2. The MASL and Mitre share a long-term vision to see arena soccer grow in North America. Mitre's Astro Division ball is the official game ball for MASL League play. Mitre's Astro Division is designed specifically for play on artificial surfaces. It features a more accurate flight than the average ball and has a 30% reduced bounce to make it play more efficiently in arena soccer. Also a reminder that you're watching the Wave and the Blast on MASL TV. Catch every game each week on the league's official streaming home, MASL.tv. And get the latest news on the MASL and your favorite teams. Make sure you're following MASL Soccer on Facebook and Instagram, and MASL Arena on Twitter. A couple other games going on in the MASL later today. One of those will have the Turlock Express visiting Soles de Sonora in Hermosillo. I hesitate to think what a hypothetical spread in that game might be tonight. The Soles at 10-6, winners of 8 straight. Express at 2-16, and I gotta believe they are gonna have a tough time down there in that one.
Well, that and the fact that Solis is now playing at a very high level. They've won 8 consecutive to really move into the driver's seat for second place in that division.
Yeah, not sure they're going to catch Monterey, which won again Thursday.
No, that's not going to happen.
They're 16-0, but no question, Art, they are building momentum. The back-to-back leagues runners-up, the team that's lost to Baltimore each of the last couple of years in the championship, and it looks like they're gearing up for another run. So keep an eye on that Southwest Division. There's a penalty right there coming up against the Wave. Chad Vandergriff going to go to the box as he whacked down Jamie Thomas, and Baltimore is going to get today's first power play at 7:10 of the first period.
You got to figure that special teams are going to play a huge role in the outcome of this game, and Baltimore with the first opportunity here on the power play. You see Vandergriff, number 3, the Wave defender, going off for tripping here.
The other game tonight in the MASL will have the St. Louis Ambush hosting Cedar Rapids on Alumni Night at Family Arena in St. Charles. So the Blast on the power play. Typically, they've been pretty good at special teams over the years. This year, 55% with the man advantage, 17 out of 31. No shorthand goals against. And meanwhile, the Wave this year, killing them off at 71%. They've stopped 25 of 35. They have 1 shorthand goal scored by Ian Bennett. Shot save made by Lemos as he stops Donatelli. There's a State Farm Insurance save of the game right off the bat for Josh Lemos.
See Lemos pumping the fist after that save on Donatelli.
Donatelli gets it back as he tries to maneuver against Marcio Leite. Marcio, Grable, Bennett, and Santos for Milwaukee. Santos trying to poke one out of the zone, but it's kept by Baltimore. Pat Healy, the quarterback of this power play, the 10-year veteran out of Towson University, son of the legendary general manager of the Baltimore Blast, Kevin Healy. Now Donatelli got it on the left foot. He'll send it up high. Follow up by Vinny Dantas up into the stands.
Sure, Vinny would like to have that one back. The leading scorer on the blast, Vinny Dantas. Good opportunity there at the far post. Just mishit. That ball with his left foot as we take another look at that save on Donatelli by Josh Lemos.
State Farm Insurance save of the first half on our Wisconsin Vision instant replay. So he does the double on that one. And now, opportunity for the blast as Mello picked off the pass. He was coming in and the foul called on Santos. And boy, that was pretty close to being a blue card that would have put up Baltimore at a two-man advantage.
That should have been a blue card and possibly a shootout because Mello was unobstructed to the Wave goal and Santos took him down from behind. So I think both teams have a fair argument that they should have had at least one more blue card.
Dantas steps up, hammers a shot and a goal. Power play restart, and Vinny Dantas, who has just torched the Wave since coming into this league, hammers one home. And Baltimore grabs a 1-0 lead.
Breakdown in the Waves wall. Look right there. You see Santos move. And actually that ball didn't go through the wall. It went just to the right of Jonathan. But there shouldn't be any movement in the wall. And that time, that ball might have deflected off Marcio Leite, number 77. And got past Lemos because of the deflection.
It can't be a wall if it's moving, as it shouldn't. One great philosopher said. But power play goal for Baltimore, unassisted for Dantas at 8:33. Dantas, Baltimore's leading scorer from a year ago. He's second on the team this year. Donatelli leading with 35 points. Donatelli 8th in the league in scoring. Dantas now with 18 goals, 9 assists, 27 points for number 2 on the Blast scoring list. He was the leading point scorer in the MASL postseason last year. 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points in 9 games. Clearly deserved of the postseason MVP and leading the Blast to the Ron Newman Cup last year. And he is a force, a major force to be dealt with if you're trying to defend against him. All right, let's see if the Wave can come back with the equalizer. Not too often this year that Milwaukee has not scored first. Lemos pressing up as he looks the corner for Max Ferdinand. Max double teamed, tried to get it out through. He did, and a shot by Ricardinho. What a kick save there by Capinos. I don't think he saw that till the last millisecond. Ruggles gets it back. So Joey Capinos with another big save. In traffic that time. Crowd trying to get the Wave fired up here. Still a few coming in here for this Saturday afternoon matinee. Curiel plays it out near wing to Ricardinho, and now Lemos with it.
Milwaukee fans, when the schedule comes out, they take a look, and when they see the Baltimore Blast, they pencil that one right in there.
Max, top of the area, sheds off the defender coming in, and lays it off, shot a goal! Guilherme Vega. Boy, Max, the picture of composure as he seemingly hesitated forever before laying it off to Vega for the easy tap, and it's tied at 1 apiece.
You're right, Tom. We thought that he might have hesitated a little bit too long, but he knew exactly what he was doing. He just undressed the Baltimore Blast defense with 2 or 3 beautiful moves. Watch this. Fends off the initial challenge by Healy, and then 3 Blast players are left watching as Ferdinand finds Vega at the far post, and the Wave has tied it up.
Well, Guilherme Vega, not known as a big-time goal scorer, but he's picked up the pace this year. That's actually his 5th of the season. Also has 7 assists for 12 points. And Max Ferdinand, the league's leading playmaker, gets assist number 28 this year. Max now with 38 points, second on the Wave, 5th in the league. And back to even at 1 apiece.
And what was impressive about that goal, Tom, was Max's ability to hold off Pat Healy.
2-time league defender of the year.
To gain some space there. And I know there's probably some fans out there saying that was a pushing foul on Max Ferdinand, but as you said, so far the referees are allowing these teams to play both ways.
Juan Pereira getting the foul there as Santos got knocked down. You see Jono trying to rub his left elbow there. One more time in the Wisconsin Vision instant replay. All right, back to the action. Blast with it in the white unis going right to left. Up along the far board, Pereira with it, checked off by Ian Bennett. Bennett in the middle of Marcio. Marcio trying to go back for Ian, coming in on the left side. And tried to chip it past Capinos, but Joey there to make the stop. Back the other way. Drive is just high that time. And out of play, the Wave will put it in.
One thing you're seeing early in this game, Tom, is Joey Capinos has taken in a very aggressive stance here in the Baltimore goal. Coming off his line, Max Ferdinand did a really nice job of using that aggressiveness against him on that goal by pulling him off his line and finding Vega at the far post. So, be interesting to see how Capinos, what his approach is this entire game if he keeps taking such an aggressive approach coming off his line.
Well, one thing we've seen about Jamie in his past experiences is that, and I guess probably owing somewhat to his diminutive size, you're probably not going to lay back too much. I guess when you're, you know, only 5'9", if that, you really can't afford to stay back too much.
Joey, correct?
Joey Capinos. Yeah. I said Jamie is his identical twin brother.
Is right. I'm going, okay, wait, I got the Capinos is right, correct? Because I know Mama Capinos is probably listening here. The Capinos family, they like to listen to these games. I don't want Mrs. Capinos calling me up.
And I'm not sure if it was actually Jamie that we'd know the difference anyway, unless maybe they got a little difference in the beards. But that is indeed Joey, so good call on that. Ian Bennett turning, save Capinos in the middle.
Once again, Joey Capinos, great job to come off his line.
Wave trying to see if they can still work for a chance. 2.5 to go first period. This game building some momentum here late in the first period. We've had a lot of games in recent years between these teams where there really is not much happening offensively in the first half of the game. But today, both teams getting some opportunities here in the first period. Lemos looking long for Max. In the corner as he works there against Jeremy Rayleigh. Rayleigh practically taking off his left arm, but Max holding him off there.
What I like about the Wave here in the first quarter is they're meeting the physical challenge that Baltimore presents every time they play.
Now Max trying to see if he can work out high against Rayleigh. Rayleigh, the former Maryland Terrapin. Max out of Reading, Pennsylvania. Tried to put one through him, had it knocked away. Still battling with Ricardinho. Max comes away with it. Max, a wizard in tight space handling that ball, but this time the Blast takes it away. And we got a foul called on the Blast as Ricardinho and Andrew Hoxie go down. And apparently the foul on Hoxie.
Sometimes it's beneficial to be the smaller guy. Andrew Hoxie, what, 6'3", 6'4", number 4. You see him come into the diminutive Ricardinho there at the end of the play.
He's got Ricardinho by almost a foot. In fact, his mustache is probably almost half the size of Ricardinho. All right, timeout on the floor with 1:19 left to go, tied at 1. There's our longtime fan, Ron. 80 years young and still rolling here to the games. One of the great Wave fans of all time. But yeah, no question, Art, this early pace here between the teams definitely forebodes a great rest of the match coming up here.
You mentioned the gentleman we just saw there on the camera. Another gentleman in attendance today, Tom, former Wave owner Charlie Krause. Saw his son Tim Krause down in the lobby before the game. He said very happy to get his father Charlie to today's game.
Charlie was a great owner for several years, and we've had a string of great owners with this team, no question about it. And to the current day. Mike Zimmerman and MKE Sports and Entertainment. By the way, can't reveal too much, but a big announcement forthcoming from MKE Sports in the near future, sometime this spring. But to more immediate concerns. The Wave trying to see if they can capitalize on the restart chance here against the Blast. Max Ferdinand to put it in. Tries to chip high. Missed the target. Ruggles keeps it alive. Marcio flicks it back. Ruggles with the volley just high. Oh, that would have been goal of the year candidate had Drew converted on that.
Great set that time by Marcio Leite, who put that one on a platter for Drew Ruggles on his left foot.
Mello with the pressure as Wave gets it back to Marcio on the near side. Across for Ferdinand out high. Again, they've been trying to get it to Max and let him work out high. This time against the defender, Jamie Thomas. Max plays it in. Bennett with a back heel redirect. Rebound came off to him, but couldn't get much on it. Capinos covers up.
Great point, Tom. You can see a big part of the plan for the Wave is to isolate Max Ferdinand, Marcio Leite, and Ian Bennett on the wings. In order to do that, you need good spacing, and the spacing has been very good so far for the Wave.
Lemos looking long for Bennett. Whacked away by Healy, but it comes back Ricardinho. Trying to do a little shake and bake, and Mello not having any of it. Now Dantas in the corner as he's double teamed by Bennett and Ricardinho. Dantas, though, so big and strong. I'll tell you, if you see that guy up close and personal down on the field, you can understand how he's able to invoke his will on the field. And Peruzzi and Marcio with a little friendly hugging as the period comes to an end. There's Josh Lemos, goalkeeper for the Wave. It's 1-1 here from the arena.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena Rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit wiscohotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave.
For all your construction needs.
Tied at 1 as we get ready to start the second period here in Milwaukee between the Wave and the Baltimore Blast. That was Josh Lemos warming up before the game. Coach Giuliano Oliviero going down the line to his team. Joey Capinos coming up with a big save to start early, and now we're back in the second period. Well, we got a lot of early highlights. Lemos knocked down, and the defender who he collided with is down, and they're going to stop play here. Let's see who it is. Looks like Vinny Dantas fell hard on his shoulder.
Not so sure it's the shoulder, Tom. Looks like it's the midsection. See right there, the left foot.
Lower body injury, as they would say in the NHL.
Lower body injury that they don't send the trainer on for. Hey, Vinny, you're just going to have to walk that one off, bud.
Not much remedy for that, at least not instant remedy.
No, and you mentioned the toughness of Vinny Dantas, but this whole Baltimore Blast team, they're built on toughness.
I'd say Dantas and Healy are probably their two leaders on the field there. But all those guys, as Chamali hammers one in, and Milwaukee grabs the lead 2-1. Vega with the assist. Daniel Chamali gets his first of the year, and Milwaukee grabs a 2-1 lead.
Two Wave defenders hooking up that time. As Vega found Chamali, and Chamali, a low shot that beats Capinos. Watch this one sneak underneath Joey at the near post. Probably a shot Joey would like to have back. May have been screened a little bit that time. That shot went between the legs of the Blast defenders.
Well, maybe you have to credit that goal to his haircut, but that was a big one for Chamali and the Wave. And Vega all of a sudden becoming an offensive force here. Art, a goal and assist today. 5 goals and 8 assists on the year for 13 points. Now, one thing about Guilherme, hasn't been very healthy throughout his first 2 years with Milwaukee, but this year he's been able to stay on the field, and so the rise in his production not surprising in that concern. He is an excellent player.
Wave fortunate right there that Hoxie didn't finish that ball to the far post. He's a right-footed player. He tried to take it with the outside of his right, should have used the inside of his left.
Yeah, he got a lot of space there outside the area and just missed it, but I'm sure we'll hear from him sometime during the game. He's another guy who always seems to come up with key goals, especially when the games are tight.
You talked about the toughness of Pat Healy, Vinny Dantas. Put Tony Donatelli in that equation as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Andrew Hoxie and Dos Santos. They got a lot of big boys on this Blast team to go with a fair share of skillful Brazilian players as well.
7 Brazilians on this team, and that's not including Lucas Roque, who really was turning out to be one of their most dynamic players in the first half of the season, but he suffered a season-ending knee injury, tough blow for the Blast. But yeah, they've really had the Brazilian influx here in the last couple of years.
Roque had 12 goals in just 11 games before his injury.
Drive wide right there by De Oliveira. And as Bennett tries to work it out to midfield, he is plopped on by Dos Santos. Check it out one more time. Lemos with it, Wave going right to left. Marcio with it now as he will bring it up Ian. And I don't know if Ian thought somebody was behind him or not, but went right past him. Capinos with it, firing long. Dennison able to head it away. In case you missed the action from last night, 4 games in the MASL, which the nightcap featured San Diego going to Tacoma and just dismantling the Stars 10-3. Also, El Paso beating Ontario 10-8. St. Louis with a surprising win on the road at Kansas City, 7-6. And then Florida beating the somewhat listless Harrisburg Heat, I thought, Art, 5-2 down in Lakeland. Not taking anything away from the Tropics, they're a good team, but boy, Harrisburg just seemed like they had very limited energy in that contest last night.
No, fair to say that Harrisburg's been a disappointment this season, as has the team you mentioned prior to that, the Kansas City Comets.
Yeah, Ambush, that was just their 3rd victory against 15 losses. Now, of course, we saw St. Louis a couple of weeks ago, and they gave the Wave everything they could handle here in a 7-5 Milwaukee victory. And, you know, again, you got to give credit to Everton and his program, as they've, you know, they played hard every time out and probably should have won a couple more games than what they did. But nonetheless, kind of surprising that KC would drop that one on their home field. Ruggles trying to get it set up, got it back from Vega, works it back, and a great block in front. Oh, Ruggles and Vega working the time, and we get a boarding penalty coming up against the Blast as Stuart Grable got crunched down low. So now Milwaukee will go on the power play, as you see Grable, and that is his left elbow he's holding there. Check it out one more time.
You could hear it up here. Look at the nice work this time by Vega and Ruggles. Vega probably should have shot there first time, but watch the boarding right here. Good positioning that time by Grable. Dos Santos comes in. Not sure that was a 2-minute penalty, but Grable did a nice job of selling it along the near boards.
Yeah, I would agree with that. 4:09, the time of the call here in the second period as Dos Santos goes for boarding. And so Milwaukee on the power play. This is where Wave has really missed Daniel Matos, who has been out with that sprained ankle for a while. Matos may be back by next week, but Wave power play a lot more effective when he is in it. Daniel has played just 8 games this year. Andre Hain, the other guy who's been out with that MCL strain, has only played in 10. Wave hoping to get those 2 guys back here in the last couple weeks before the postseason.
You got to capitalize when you get your chances on the power play against the Blast. They don't give you many. They've only been penalized 19 times this season. By far the least in the MASL.
They've only given up 5 power play goals. Oh, and a kick save by Capinos. Saved another one there. So they've killed off 13 of 18. They have not scored any shorthanders. Wave, meanwhile, been pretty decent on the power play still. 46%, 19 for 41. They have given up 1 shorthander themselves. Max fires a shot. Capinos had a good look, made that save.
The Blast have been on the power play 32 times, only on the man down 19 times this year.
Oh, Ricardinho with a shot that's just tipped away by Capinos off the frame. Joey Capinos again with a great save. Now they work it down to Ian, trying to turn, save, Capinos again. Thomas going to get called for pushing down here as he nudged Ricardinho. Again, it doesn't take much to nudge Ricardinho. He only weighs 130 pounds. So you got to look at the former St. John's Red Storm. Hey, Jamie.
Delay a game warning here against the Blast. Jamie Thomas not backing up after that foul.
I was going to say you should be happier. Red Storm with a big win over Marquette today. Proving that that win over Villanova was no fluke. So,
I don't believe it's a penalty. It's just a delay of game warning.
Van McNeil getting a little excited there. I think for a moment though, Jamie Thomas heard penalty and he was a little bit miffed.
Not sure why it was necessary to come all the way over to the penalty box to explain the call. You just stick your hand up in the air with a fist and they should know it's a delay of game warning or encroachment warning.
Wave still with 20 seconds left on the power play. Ricardinho trying to feed it across to Ferdinand, but that ball cut off by Healy. Capinos clears.
Time for one more rush here on the power play.
Well, the Wave has created a couple of good chances, but Capinos and the Baltimore defense has been up to the task. Now Max trying to work his way top of the area as the penalty expires. Ricardinho with a shot and a goal! Capinos looked like he had it, but could not keep it out of the goal. And the Wave scores to make it 3-1. Ricardinho scores from Milwaukee.
I believe that ball might have came back and deflected off Nelson Santana after Capinos made the original save. We'll take a look here on the Wisconsin Vision Instant Replay. Here's the initial shot from Ricardinho. There's the save, and that ball does come back off Santana and had eyes and crawled underneath the bar. Not a power play goal, but just seconds after it. Bit of luck there for the Wave.
And that was a good look right there in our Wisconsin Vision Instant Replay as Ricardinho gets his 10th of the year. We'll have to double check on the assist as that happened just 5 seconds after the power play expired. And so many times, Art, as we've seen it over the years, technically not a power play goal, but in the last few seconds after the penalty expires, almost the same thing because the guy coming out of the box can't get involved in the play.
Yeah, once again, it's kind of like the restarts. We call them second chance restart goals when you don't score on the initial restart opportunity. There's a second chance power play goal. Just after the power play ends, that man down team doesn't have a chance to get off the field for a change. The Wave capitalized.
So Ricardinho gets his 10th of the year. Boy, how about this guy? Last year, 2 goals, 9 assists in his first indoor campaign, but he's picked it up this year. That is his 10th of the year to go along with 9 assists for 19 points. So he's 4th on the team as far as active scorers. Remember, he would be 5th if you included Robert Renaud. Renaud is still technically 3rd on the team's scoring list, 32 points. Robert, the Wave's high-scoring forward, who went out with the ACL injury last month, and by the way, had successful surgery this past Thursday here in Milwaukee. 32 points. Robert is still in the league's top 15 as far as scoring, and he hasn't played in a month.
Sometimes, as a player, your role changes, and certainly with the injuries to both Hayne and Robert Renaud, some of the roles of the players had to have changed, and that might have been something Giuliano Oliviero mentioned to Ricardinho is, we need you to be a little more assertive in your goal scoring.
Guilherme Vega probably in that same category as well. So Wave has been able to pick it up for some of their injured comrades. Baltimore with it as they attack zone to the right here. Still haven't reached the midway point of the second period. That ball deflects in front off of Hoxie. Lemos with it. Baltimore trying to put the pressure on now. They've been changing up as far as high pressure, low pressure against the Wave in their defensive end. Now Marcio comes out of there with it. Finds Vandegrift on the far side. Chad will back it up for Chamale.
I had a chance to watch Wave practice this week, Tom, and they worked against high pressure all week long and were very sharp in their execution at training. And it's carried over here, at least in the first half of this game.
Lemos and Chamale were knocking it back and forth. Now Hans Dennison.
And it's just as I say that, Hans, with an unforced error, plays it into his own bench.
But I would agree, up to this point, Milwaukee has looked pretty good handling Baltimore's defensive pressure. The Blast, again, very stingy as far as yielding goals this year, even though they have moved into the much smaller venue. 110-4-73 against. Milwaukee, meanwhile, starts today's action having scored 141, giving up 98. The Wave's been pretty respectable defensively as well. Shot in on Josh Lemos, and he makes a save. Josh will come out with it with Donatelli coming toward him. Now up to Vandegrift. Chad going to the corner, trying to see if he could bang one around for Bennett on the other side. lost his footing. Fortunately, did not get hurt there.
Absolutely, Tom. He put himself in a real bad position there, chasing that ball down.
You could see what he wanted to do, but yeah, he kind of lost his footing there. That could have really been bad. Remember, Chad missed the first half of the season with a toe injury, so he's still trying to get back in form here. 6.5 to go, second quarter, 3-1, Milwaukee leads it. The only action right now in the MASL. Don't forget, these two teams will meet again right here at the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena a week from tonight. That's Saturday, February 17th at 7 p.m. Call the Wave office for tickets, 414-224-WAVE. You can also order online at MilwaukeeWave.com. Your source for everything Wave. Tickets, merchandise, summer camps, you name it, MilwaukeeWave.com. Marcio with a nice move there. 2-on-3 as he comes over the Grable, takes a shot just wide. Vega will track it down and move it back. It'll come all the way back to Lemos as Wave was changing up.
Wave has looked very confident here in the first half against the defending champs. They're playing with a purpose offensively, wasting no time going at the Blast when they get possession of the ball.
Nice crowd on hand here for Saturday matinee. And I'm sure we'll have a bigger one for that big game coming up on Saturday night. Remember, this is the first of 3 consecutive games for Milwaukee against Baltimore. The Blast, after today, will go back home to host Cedar Rapids on Friday before returning to Milwaukee Saturday. So Baltimore is going to have a very difficult weekend compared to the Wave. We'll just be sitting here all week and waiting to play the Blast again. And then the teams will meet for the only time in Baltimore this year on Friday night, February 23rd at the Seco Arena in Townsend, Maryland. And
where we'll see a much different style of game in the Seco Arena. Practice your restarts from the yellow line because you're going to get a ton of them. The distance between yellow lines is so minute in that building.
Yeah, in fact, if you could imagine, let's say, take a look at this field and put the goal right on the defensive yellow line. I'm not even sure that's as long as Seco Arena is, but it would give you a little more approximation of it if you haven't seen a game from there.
Give the Blast credit to adjusting to the new arena. Danny Kelly, big field, small field, whatever size field, whatever you throw at us, we're going to go out and we're going to play well, which they have.
Ruggles trying to work for position. Couldn't get the shot, though. Well defended by the Blast. Now Chino, Angel Curiel. 4th year in this league. 1st year with Milwaukee, last year with Cedar Rapids. And speaking of Cedar Rapids, Art, it's looking more and more like they're going to be our opponent when the Wave is home for the playoffs on March 11th at 105.
Yeah, as I said before, Kansas City just could not mount a charge at Cedar Rapids. They had a real opportunity to do so, but haven't been able to string together any wins.
Ante Chope, all the Blast almost got caught with too many men on the field there, and a little miscommunication in the change, but they avoid penalty. Ruggles almost able to start back the other way.
We said the Blast, the least penalized team in the league by far. Not because the referees give them the benefit of the doubt on calls. It's due to their tremendous discipline that they play with under Coach Danny Kelly.
Good format, good discipline, good experience, good length of time playing together as well. That's helped this team.
You look at the Blast, Tom, and there's been some animosity amongst the fans of both teams, but I tell you, the players and coaches throughout the years, just a tremendous amount of respect for the other. We've had great epic battles against the Blast over the years, but it's always been built on respect both ways. They're a team that if you're not in the playoffs and you're with the Milwaukee Wave, you're probably rooting for the Baltimore Blast because of the way they conduct themselves. And it starts at the top. And haven't heard a lot from Ed Hale this year, right? One of the most competitive guys around. But Kevin Healy, their general manager, Danny Kelly, and then the players, just a class organization.
Well, you never know. Ed might be out on a CIA assignment. So, Blast coming in as Nascimento tries to work it. Well, we got a couple of Nascimentos in the league now. We didn't have any for years. You got Paulo Nascimento, the goalkeeper for St. Louis, who, by the way, had to make some pretty impressive saves down the stretch last night to win that in KC.
You mentioned Ed Hale being with the CIA, Tom. I got a kick out of the story. The first time he ever told his mother that he was with the CIA, they were having dinner, and he said, and her quote was, "Yeah, can you pass the broccoli, please?"
Max under pressure, lost it one, and fortunately they're going to call a foul on Dantas. Whoa. Not that that wasn't a foul, but I'm not sure Dantas really had to do this. If he just runs past and doesn't touch Max, it's going to be a goal for Baltimore.
Absolutely, and think back to the Waves' first goal when it was Ferdinand that got away with a little push-off on Pat Healy. And this time, Ferdinand again, the beneficiary of a call against Dantas there.
Boy, some slick work there by Marcio to keep the possession for the Wave. Last minute 20 of the first half. Stick around for the halftime interview immediately before we go to break. We'll have Van McNeil talking with Wave coach Giuliano Oliviero.
And I got to think Jules will be thrilled with the defensive effort of the Wave.
Good pressure there by him.
Speaking of Jules, I would assume he's going to take a timeout right here. They haven't used one so far. Why waste it with a minute left here, top of the arc restart?
Pretty good odds, as you said, Art, that they are going to take a timeout here. Max coming up, surveying, and he'll put it in play.
Not a good ball that time by Max. He wrong-footed Ruggles. Played it to his right foot. Drew's a lefty.
Well, Vega checking somebody into the board down there. Foul was called. It was kind of a late whistle, but a good call there.
Surprised the Wave didn't take a timeout on that restart. They had their pieces on the floor. They knew what play they wanted to run, but Marcio and Max were still talking, and they got that play off right at the 5-second mark. And it wasn't a good ball by Max.
Here's Pereira getting around Ruggles, slots it across, and somehow it just drifted past the foot of De Oliveira. Oh my goodness, just standing there at the far post, nobody within 20 feet of him, but fortunately for the Wave, it took a bad hop right past him. Boy, that's one of those, Art, if he just lays out prone on the turf, the ball's probably going in that. Now Max trying to push up 3-2. Max still coming, lays it off to the near wing as he tried to connect with Ian, but the pass behind him.
What a dynamic run by Max Ferdinand. And unfortunately for the Wave, Max, as he's prone to be, just a little too unselfish there. Probably should have pulled the trigger.
Well, anyway, a great first half for the Wave and a great first half for the fans watching this game. Josh Lemos, another fine effort for Milwaukee thus far. And he and the Wave will take a 3-1 lead into the locker room. Again, stick around as we're going to go downfield and have our halftime interview with Wave coach Giuliano Oliviero. Giuliano talking with Max as as Max heads toward the locker room. I think he was telling him exactly what you said, Art, that maybe he was a little too unselfish on that last play. Standing by for Van McNeil to talk with head coach Oliviero. Let's send it down to Van.
Time for the Midwest Orthopedic Specialty Hospital Coaches Corner as we celebrate old school video game night here against the Baltimore Blast, one of our biggest rivals. Coach, what do you think here in the first half?
Old school video night, old school rivalry. It's the Baltimore Blast, the two-time defending champions. They're the team that knocked us out of the playoffs last year. The guys I thought they had a great half. They really want this one. They're really motivated, and I think it's just going to come down to our execution in the second half.
Yeah, you can tell how tenacious, how bad they want this win after losing to the Central Division championships last season.
What do you tell the guys to motivate them for this last half hour here?
You know what? Again, they don't need motivation. They know what's at stake here. They know what's on the line. 14-2 blast, 14-3 wave. So we just got to come out prepared to play from the opening whistle to the final whistle. So that's our goal in the second half.
All right, head coach Giuliano Oliviero, thank you for the update as he heads back into the locker room. Wave fans, are we having a good time so far? It's the Wave 3, the Blast 1, second half of Milwaukee Wave Soccer coming up right after this.
For just a moment, think about your life without electricity. No lights, no refrigerator, no computers. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? American Transmission Company helps to keep the lights on. ATC's electric transmission lines deliver electricity from where it's generated to where it's needed. We help provide people in Wisconsin with economical, reliable power for their everyday life. American Transmission Company, helping to keep the lights on, businesses running, and communities strong.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit wiscohotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave. The Milwaukee Wave presents the State Farm Save of the Game. In the Wave's home opener against Cedar Rapids, goalkeeper Josh Lemos showed no signs of a sophomore slump as he came up big time after Rampage goalie Brett Petrusek came out of the box and attacked to no avail. Lemos had a save percentage of .462 on the night, along with 13 shots against and 7 goals against, and of course he's pumped up. The State Farm Save of the Game, brought to you by State Farm, here to help life go right. In New Berlin, contact Matt Teresi at 262-427-2227.
You could be my love, even if the sky is falling down. I know that we'll be safe and sound.
So many Americans struggle with finances. Starting today, State Farm is here to help, giving us all the chance to simply sit down and learn. Visit letstarttoday.com or talk to an agent.
We're safe and sound.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
Clears it off the line. Oh. Rappa clears it off the line.
Attacker, so put myself in the right spot, and I've been working on saving balls off the line, so it paid off.
Oh, there he goes, the ice.
all your construction needs.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena Rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
For just a moment, think about your life without electricity. No lights, no refrigerator, no computers. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? American Transmission Company helps to keep the lights on. ATC's electric transmission lines deliver electricity from where it's generated to where it's needed. We help provide people in Wisconsin with economical, reliable power for their everyday life. American Transmission Company, helping to keep the lights on, businesses running, and communities strong.
Crowd whooping it up here at halftime. Well, at least one young Blast fan was. But we're here in Milwaukee where the Wave leads it 3-1 over the Baltimore Blast. Tom went along with the Wave Hall of Famer Art Kramer as saw an excellent first half. Arts, take a look at some of the highlights.
See Max Ferdinand, great first half by Max from a distribution standpoint. Was impressed with the play of the entire Wave team. Defensively was outstanding. You look at Ian Bennett, 43 goals on the year. Didn't light the lamp in the first half, but his work rate defensively was outstanding.
And the Wave as a team, excellent team defense, solid goalkeeping from Josh Lemos, and some timely scoring. And again, both goalkeepers performing well. Joey Capinos, numerous excellent saves in the first half, especially in the first quarter. Wave could have possibly had a couple more goals, and Josh Lemos with a couple of nice stops to limit the Blast to just one goal.
No question about it. In this league, they give 3 stars at the end of each game, and if you were going to give 3 stars for the first half, you gotta think that Joey Capinos would have been one of the 3 stars.
This was the only goal for the Blast, was on a power play restart by Vinny Dantas, who has definitely made his presence felt against the Wave in recent years. Wave got its first goal when Max Ferdinand set up Guilherme Vega in the first period. Max with his league-leading 28th assist on there. He's only 2 short of his league-leading total from a year ago, which was 30 there. Daniel Chamali getting his first of the year from Guilherme Vega. Vega with a goal and an assist in the first half. And then Ricardinho firing in, and I believe Max should get the assist for that also, because that set him up just as a power play was expiring for Milwaukee. So credit Max Ferdinand with the assist on that, even though I guess you could say it was an own goal off the back of Baltimore defender Nelson Santana.
Baltimore likes to go forward right away on the kickoffs. And saw the referees call that one back there and make him do it again as Donatelli left too early down the right side.
Blast with it, going right to left here in the third quarter. Pat Healy, the veteran defender, gets it back from Dantas. Now Juan Pereira will crank up a shot that's wide right. Dantas tracking to midfield, wins it from Vandegrift.
Mentioned Baltimore 14-2 on the season, Tom. Both those losses by 1 goal. Hard to put this Blast team away. They continually stick around, stay in the game, and then win the close games at the end.
And there's no doubt, if it's a low-scoring game, seems to work in favor of the Blast. You look at some of their scores from this year, and just amazing how they've pulled out a number of low-scoring contests. 3-2 in Cedar Rapids last month. They also won a 5-3 game at Kansas City on that same road trip. Donatelli will set it up. Hoxie with a drive, just wide. And again, the restart coming from the line after the 3-line violation against the Wave.
Good recognition by veteran official Ryan Sigich on that 3-line violation. The Wave was arguing that it shouldn't have been, but it was.
Now Mello in the middle, lays it off near side. Santana's side-wheeling ball. Not sure if that was a shot or a pass. But anyway, the Blast gets it back. Here's Thomas in front of his bench.
Got to play 60 minutes against the Baltimore Blast if you're going to come out with a victory. Mention all the tight games they've won this year and over the years.
The Wave and Blast have certainly had a lot of close tilts in their lengthy all-time series. This again is game number 87 between the two, 88s. Coming next week, Saturday night, as the Wave will be hosting Baltimore again 7 o'clock game time here from the UW-Milwaukee Panther Arena. Call the Wave office for tickets, 414-224-WAVE. You can also order them online at MilwaukeeWave.com. Oh, through ball that came all the way through. What was that? De Oliveira, and he put it up high. Coming right down Main Street. Great
chance.
Just
an outstanding pass by Pat Healy, the Blast captain, to find De Oliveira at the far post.
Boy, he'd like to have that one.
He should have buried that one, absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Santos trying to see if he could nudge it ahead for Vega, but the Blast take it away. Dantas with it. He will lay it back. Rayleigh sends it in. Donatelli trying to turn and Wave defense able to react right there. Now Daniel Peruzzi. Don't think we saw much of him in the first half. Plays one off the inboard of bunch. Santos knocked it down, and all he did was set up Donatelli for a chance, but could not convert. Now nice ball here as it's sent up ahead. Marcio with the goalkeeper up. Marcio lays it up far side. Ricardinho couldn't stretch out far enough.
Marcio did the hard part by beating Capinos to the ball along the near boards, but then he led Ricardinho just a little too much, as Ricardinho would have had a tap in.
Well, Marcio he's about as great of a distributor as you're going to see, and could not make the connection, and back come the Blast. Well, you talk about a possible turning point in this game as they put it away to make it a 3-2 game. This is on the counter attack after the Wave looked like they were going to go up 4-1. Jonatas Mello knocks it home. Time of the goal at 3:28. And the Blast back 1-1. It's 3-2.
See that quite often. You miss a golden opportunity at one end and you get punished the other way. As Pereira found Melo, and just like that, the Blast back in it at 3-2. In the first 3.5 minutes, the Blast have dominated here coming out the second half.
Melo with his 7th goal of the year. He also has 13 assists for 20 points. Juan Pereira picks up the assist. That's his 5th helper of the year to go along with 9 goals. And he's got 14 points.
Talked about it, the Blast isn't going anywhere. They do not get flustered, they don't get rattled.
Ian Bennett shut down in the first half by the Blast. And Bennett, the league's 2nd leading scorer, 53 points coming in, just 4 behind. Sonora's Frank Teo leads with 57. Pereira turns at midfield, checked off the play by Chino. They play on. Bennett jumping around Nascimento, now 3-2 as he comes in, fires a shot. Joey Capinos, nice save there. There's a State Farm insurance for Capino here in the second half.
Capinos did a nice job to parry that one upwards and was able to just corral the shot with no rebound.
Yeah, the pace of this game has been offensively favorable, even though we've only had 5 goals combined between the teams. Max, good job to take it away, Nascimento. Running up with Ruggles on a 2-on-4. Max lost it there, but Marcio gets it back, lays it across. Here comes Dennison. Hans has some space. Tried to tee it up with the left foot. Nice sliding block by Santana. Santana, almost 40 years old. And not the sleekest looking guy out there, but I'll tell you, he can still move pretty well. Still pretty nimble out there.
Interesting, that ball popped up into the Blast bench.
Vega.
The players on the Blast bench actually nodded it back on the field. I'm surprised because it worked to their disadvantage. So Wave went on the attack. And it wasn't Danny Kelly, the Blast coach, who nodded it back on the field, because we know Danny seldom takes those hands out of his pockets. As you see right now, Tom, we got a view of him. Got the hands in the suit coat pockets.
Yeah, Danny's pretty unflappable standing on the bench over there. Oh, I just saw him take a couple of steps.
Don't let the demeanor fool you. There's not many competitors in this league as intense as Danny Kelly. Just not going to show it to you outwardly.
Wait, what was Danny as a player? 16 years?
Yeah.
With the Heat and the Blast. And
once again, that composure was one of the staples of his game as well.
Let's put it this way. Danny Kelly played for Penn State before they even entered the Big Ten, if I'm correct. Marcio had the ball fall right to him, but could not finish at the left post. And now back come the Blasts. Oliveira tied up by Chino, but the Blast will keep the possession. Well, the Waves had a couple of good looks here in the third quarter, but unlucky.
2 really good looks, and the Blast had one that should have been finished.
Dantas working against Santos, bangs it in off the end board. Lemos able to deflect out. Now Ricardinho with it. Ricardinho's got one of the 3 goals today for Milwaukee. Jamali and Vega with the others.
You think about it, Tom, the Blast suffers an injury to their all-star goalie, William Van Zela. And most teams would have been like, oh my gosh, the season's over. We just lost the best goalie in the league, right? But you can just imagine Tony Donatelli, Pat Healy, guys like that going, oh well, we lost our goalie. Let's get the next guy in there, go out and win some more games. Just how they carry themselves.
Speaking of Healy, he had to fill in as the substitute goalkeeper the game that Venezuela went down, and very impressive in his time that ended up picking up the victory, I believe, in that game.
But you just know, whatever the situation they're faced with, they're never going to panic.
Any team that can go down to Hermosillo and win clinching games in the back-to-back championship, that is probably the most
impressive.
Yes, very, very much so. I mean, that is the atmosphere that would create more panic in any visiting team, no matter what. Basically the same size field as the Blast play on now at Seco Arena, but it seems much more stifling, at least when you watch it on video.
It all goes back to their leader, Danny Kelly. If he exudes calm, that's what your players are going to exude, and they certainly do. Healy, Donatelli, Hoxie, guys like that.
Santos trying to push up for a 3-2. Jonathan still coming in, and a great sliding effort. I think that was Thomas who somehow just barely got a tip of his toe on the ball to knock it away from Santos as Jonathan was coming in 3-2, and now
it was Jamie Thomas with the recovery run, and we got Jamie Thomas and Jonathan Santos down on the field right now, as it was Dos Santos who came in and leveled Santos. The 2 Brazilians then hug there.
Take a look at it one more time.
You see Dos Santos turn the back, not trying to hit his countrymen.
Blast will put it in play. And again, the pace of this game, Art, does not belie the score. This would not be unusual for a typical Milwaukee-Baltimore match to have this score midway through the third period, but certainly not the same kind of pace that we've seen today.
Now, the Wave totally outplayed the Blast in the first half, but the Blast have turned the tables here in the second half. And once again, credit Joey Capinos in that first half for keeping the Blast in the game.
Again, Baltimore in the white uniforms, moving it right to left. Blast, as I said, has not had overwhelming success here in Milwaukee during the course of their series, 10-32, but they've won a lot of key playoff games here. Ferdinand coming up field. Max knocked off balance a bit, and he'll get the call. Not a lot of contact, but just enough. Max had a full head of steam, and Donatelli gets called for the little nudge there.
Donatelli didn't agree with the call, but a good job of officiating there by Ryan Sigich. Waited to see if Ferdinand would have an advantage, but once that advantage was gone, he called the foul. You see, by the time he blew the whistle, the foul occurred about 10 to 15 yards behind that spot.
Here's Lemos. Josh with some room. Again, he's already scored 3 goals this year. He's not afraid to press up and takes a shot if he feels he's got an opportunity. Dennison standing on it.
And the Blast are giving him that space, Tom, to go forward. I'm surprised he hasn't at least taken it one time and gone forward to make him respect that.
Vandergriff now will play it back for Josh. Hans Dennison with it, center circle for Milwaukee. Now Bennett out high as he works against Pat Healy. Ian trying to get the inboard. Healy puts him down. Foul is called.
Healy not happy with that call, but extended the hands that time on Bennett. Watch again here on the replay. Watch the hands of Pat Healy, number 9. Right there, the left arm coming. That's a foul every day of the week.
And then we had, I think it was Santana and Dennison getting into a little bit of a verbal clash there. Verbal with some grabbing.
Nelson Santana getting into it with somebody?
I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked.
I'll tell you what, though, about Nelson Santana. You see him number 78 right there. He's only got 2 minutes in penalties this year. And once again, I've sang the praises of Danny Kelly all game long, but credit Danny Kelly, once again, with taking a player who's had some issues in the past with getting involved, silly penalties, and he's played very composed this year. 2 minutes in penalties for number 78.
See our Wisconsin Vision instant replay again, and you see right at the tail end of that, Santana and Dennison coming together. Off the free kick, Dennison sends one in. It's rejected out in front of Capinos. Lemos now send it back, looking for Vega with a header. Capinos able to get that.
Used all of that 5'8" to get up and sneer that one, Capinos did.
Wave goes left to right. Milwaukee trying to stay undefeated at home. They are 8-0 on the black turf so far this year. Trying to win their 3rd straight overall. Wave comes in at 14-3. Baltimore at 14-2. Blast 5-2 on the road so far this season. Baltimore trying to extend their winning streak to 9 in a row if they can get a victory today. Ball trickles through. Capinos picks it up. Wave has been not nearly as threatening offensively here in the 3rd quarter as they were in the 1st half, but still playing some pretty good D.
But they've had some good chances, Tom. They just failed to finish. They should have 2 at a minimum here this quarter.
Pereira to the corner, tied up by Grable. Stewart out of Neenah, Wisconsin, and UW Green Bay. He's been an indispensable player for the Wave this year, playing all over the field. Forward, midfield, defense, wherever you need him. Stuart Grable able to step in and do a nice job.
Marcio to Ricardinho, that was a tap-in that they failed to execute on. And then Marcio had another one where he had the near side open and just shot wide.
Yeah, on the former one that you mentioned, and the Wave scored there, it would have been 4-1. Baltimore immediately came right back and scored. Dantas trying to get top of the area. Nice defense there by Santos to poke it away.
You're seeing 2 players out here this afternoon that both have good shots at being Defender of the Year. Jonathan Santos for the Milwaukee Wave, Pat Healy for the Baltimore Blast.
Healy, the league's leading shot blocker with 32. He's almost always among the leaders, and he's a consummate 2-way player.
Consummate 2-way player and consummate professional, Pat Healy.
As we mentioned many times, son of the Blast general manager, Kevin Healy, so he grew up in the environment of Blast soccer. Knows what he's doing. Probably knew what he was doing from the first time he ever practiced as a youth player with these guys.
Great tradition of players that have come through the Blast system over the years. And as I've said many times, the names change, but they keep winning year after year.
Thomas with a shot. Santos might have got a piece of that one. Jonathan also among the league's leading shot blockers with 27 coming in. Yeah, you talk about Pat Healy and his lineage with the Baltimore Blast, but he also comes out of Towson University, which has produced a lot of excellent Blast players over the years. Towson and UMBC had the pipeline going to the Blast for many years. Foul called there. Anyway, Baltimore quick restart as Santos falling down is able to poke it away. Now Marcio trying to push it up along with Chamali. Daniel will back it up as they did not have the advantage. Good job though by Marcio to force the play out of the zone there.
You saw Marcio just a minute ago put down Melo at the Waves defensive yellow line. I love the physicality that Marcio Leite, Max Ferdinand, and Ian Bennett have played with today on the defensive end.
Wow, they're going to call a foul against Josh Lemos after Josh had launched it downfield. Apparently in his follow-through, he caught Nelson Santana, and official on the play made the call.
And there you see Santos and Lemos helping up Santana. Once again, play gets extremely physical between these two teams, but a lot of respect.
3-2 Wave with 1.5 to go here in the period. And again, same two teams right here on the same venue a week from tonight, Saturday, February 17th. 7:05 kickoff time. Call the Wave office for tickets, 414-224-WAVE. You can also order online at MilwaukeeWave.com. MilwaukeeWave.com, your source for everything Wave. Tickets, merchandise, summer camps, latest news, whatever it is, dial it up at MilwaukeeWave.com. First of 3 consecutive games between the Wave and the Blast, at least from the Wave's perspective. Today, February 17th, February 23rd in Baltimore. More specifically, the Sekou Arena in Towson, Maryland, the new home of the Blast after the rest of the time spent at the old Baltimore Arena, where the Milwaukee Bucks won the 1971 NBA championship. And then Baltimore, though, however, has a home game coming up a week this upcoming Friday. There's the aforementioned Tim and Charlie Krause, former owners of the Wave. And so they will host Cedar Rapids on Friday nights.
Sean Amini right there. Sean, the president of SC Waukesha Soccer Club.
Wave game is always a roll call of soccer-related celebrities. Tommy Markovic here again today. I don't know if he's quite in the same category as our previous celebs, soccer celebs, but we'll put him up there.
Oh, he's a category above Tommy.
Tommy, of course.
2006 Journal Sentinel Coach of the Year, winning a state championship at Thomas More High School.
And part of the Franklin boys contingent, who we so often see out here, with former Wave player Kyle Lance. And 1 or 2 other guys occasionally make the journey. You know the story. When it's second half and the Franklin boys have seen enough, you know the game's in the bag for the Wave. Kind of analogous to Red Auerbach.
Got the feeling they're not going to be leaving early in this one, though, Tom.
They will not be leaving early today, I don't think. I'm going to say, for those old enough to remember, Red Auerbach, the legendary coach and general manager of the Celtics, would light up the victory cigar sitting on the bench at the old Boston Garden when the Celtics had it in tow.
That's when smoking was allowed in the arenas.
Yeah. Boy, that's, you talk about another lifetime. Here's Lemos. Ricardinho trying to turn. Donatelli won't let him get to the end board. Back up for Santos. Santos, 4 goals, 5 assists. He has not scored since the midway point in the season. Had those in his first 10 games of the 22-game schedule, although he did have to miss a pair down in Mexico. He did not accompany the team down there.
The Blast do a great job of pressing with their initial defender and then tucking in support.
Max turning, fires one to the middle. He and Pereira were doing a dance out there at the far point for a while. Lemos at the buzzer, puts one on target, but Capinos has it. That will do it for the third period. The Blast get the lone goal of the third period. The goal by Jonathan Mello at 3:28 from Pereira. Hang on, fans. We go to the fourth here from Milwaukee. It's the Wave 3, the Blast 2. We're coming back with the fourth quarter after this. This is Wave Soccer.
Arena has experience in some of the biggest events in the country, and we're able to bring that same expertise to local events. We do a lot of corporate anniversaries, company parties. Most of them never plan events like this, so they're looking for our experience to plan these events with them.
Well, every August, we have our customer appreciation party where we close down the restaurant. Customers are able to sample beer, wine, enjoy live music, desserts, the whole 9 yards.
Arena can provide a turnkey service from tents, tables and chairs, linens.
Everybody has a wonderful time, and it's something different out of the ordinary that we're able to do for our customers and for our vendors. They're able to just sit back and relax.
People want more than just a cover for weather. They were able to transform parking lots into amazing event venues.
Arena rental is very easy to work with. I would recommend them to anybody.
Experience Wisco Hotels, a broad selection of quality hotels throughout the state of Wisconsin for the value-minded traveler. Whether you're looking for a hotel in Milwaukee, Madison, Fond du Lac, Appleton, or Oshkosh, Wisco Hotels has you covered with great service, comfort, convenience, outstanding hotel rates, special hotel promotions, and so much more. To book your room or to get more information, visit wiscohotels.com. Wisco Hotel Group, proud partners of your Milwaukee Wave.
Go where the pros go for chiropractic care, massage therapy, and exercise rehabilitation. Goodyear Chiropractic Health Center, the official chiropractor and massage therapist for the Milwaukee Wave.
So we come to the fourth quarter here in Milwaukee. 3-2 Wave leading the Baltimore Blast here from the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. Tom went along with the Hall of Famer Art Kramer, and you just get the feeling, Art, this one's coming down the wire again today between the Wave and the Blast.
It's been a good one. If it was a 4-round boxing match, the Wave clearly won round 1 and 2, and the Blast decisively in round 3.
So here we go in the fourth. Wave in the black uniforms going right to left on the black turf of the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena, the only one of its kind in North American professional indoor soccer. 2 other games to follow in the MASL tonight. You've got Cedar Rapids going to St. Louis to take on the Ambush in the alumni reunion game in St. Louis at Family Arena in St. Charles. And then a little later on tonight, it will be the Turlock Express visiting Soles de Sonora in a game that Sonora can probably just name its own score in that one. We'll see how that one turns out. And then some more action coming tomorrow as things heat up down the stretch here in the Major Arena Soccer League. Most of the division races have been decided, but still some battles to see who's going to finish second place in the divisions, get that second playoff spot.
The Wave, who did such a nice job of isolating Marcio Leite and Max Ferdinand in the first half, were unable to get those opportunities in the second half. Credit Danny Kelly, David Bascome with adjustments at halftime. They've come out a little higher on those players to deny them the ball in the attacking half.
Here's Josh Lemos with Hoxie pressuring him. Again, Josh, it seems a bit more reticent to push up and possibly take a shot when he's had some room here so far. This time he is going to move past. Lemos coming in. Lemos coming all the way in. Slides it in. Gathered by Capinos. He's throwing toward the empty net. But Vandegrift and the rest will get back.
Well, there it was. We talked about would Lemos take the opportunity they're giving him. And then I'm not sure what Capinos was doing after he made the save. He was trying to throw it in the far goal. This field's a little bit bigger than the Siku Arena.
Check it out one more time. Josh coming all the way to the penalty area before putting it in. Yeah, maybe Jamie, his eyes are getting Josh.
Eyes got a little bit too big.
Got a little too big there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joey Capinos, that is. Now, Ian from Max, shot just wide right. Capinos came charging out. Ian put it just a bit wide.
That pass from Ferdinand was just a bit behind Ian, but what a first touch by Ian to even create a shot for himself. Just missed to the far post.
Foul called there as Peruzzi got knocked down. Ricardinho got the foul, his first personal of the half. Remember, in the MASL, you get 3 personals in each half. On your 4th, it turns into a blue card.
You know, going back to that save by Capinos and then him trying to throw it down the field, I'm surprised the Blast didn't break out in transition. Their field players just stood there. They had an opportunity to go, and they had space.
When Capinos got the ball, Josh Lemos was still at the edge of the penalty area. He had to run 170 feet at that point still. Now, granted, Vandegrift and somebody else was back on the other side as well, but yeah, I agree with you, Art. That was a missed opportunity there. Joey Capinos is not Jamie Swanner.
No, his tendency is to throw first, and he's got a good arm, but once again, this isn't Siku. I think he maybe had just a brain misstep that time, if you will. Well, there was no way he was throwing that into the opposite goal. Give him credit for trying, though.
For those of you who can't remember Swanner, he was a one-time professional pitching prospect, and he had an arm out, and he's still one of the few guys I've ever seen be able to throw a soccer ball like a football delivery.
Well, Jamie Swanner and then Otto Orff had the similar type delivery, right?
Yep.
Speaking of goalkeepers, Sagu, the legendary goalkeeper for the Blast, is going to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Sagu, a 9-time All-League player for the Blast.
Well-deserved honor for Sagu.
Welcome the listeners and viewers on MASL TV, on YouTube.
Well, they've seen a good one if they've stayed with us throughout this broadcast. Vega looking for a foul, not going to get it. Again, Ryan Sigich, Brian Miller have let them play today. They've made some calls when they've had to, but otherwise kept pretty good consistency out there. Now here's a good pass. Dos Santos trying to walk in on a 2-1. Fires a shot. Save Lemos. There's a State Farm Insurance save of the game for Lemos, but unfortunately they reload. Andrew Hoxie shot and a goal, and we are tied at 3 apiece.
Hoxie with his 11th goal of the season. Doesn't score a lot of them, but he scores the big ones, that's for sure. And Hoxie has tied it up here in the 4th quarter. Good play by Dos Santos along the boards, and Hoxie at the back post.
Dos Santos did not hang his head in dismay after the brilliant save by Lemos. Robbed him the first time. He went back and got it, set up Hoxie. As you mentioned, Art, his 11th of the season. Hoxie now with a total of 17 points, including 6 assists. Dos Santos hasn't done a ton of scoring himself, but he does pick up the assist there. Well, I stand corrected. That's actually his 12th assist, 19 points. He has really picked up the scoring pace this season.
Blast fans pulled out their cardboard Hoxie mustaches after that goal.
Well, you said it perfectly, Art. he's a decent scorer, but when the game is on the line, he's a great scorer. Restart top of the arc. Vega sent one in. Wade's had a couple of restarts from the top of the arc that haven't really generated any spectacular chances.
Not even a shot, Tom. Not even a shot.
They've had two that have more just, they've dished it off to somebody for a pass to the middle that just gets rejected. Foul call, Blast trying for the quick restart, but they're going to make them reset.
Ball's got to be within a yard of the foul, 3 feet, and that time it clearly wasn't. Good job so far by Brian Miller and Ryan Sigich, referee in this game. You said it before, Tom, that they've let them play, and that's what players and coaches want. They want the referees to let them play. I know there's fans that would, this is a foul, that's a foul, that should have been, but as a former player and coach in this league, we'd always prefer the referees let you play.
Yeah, as long as nobody's life is in danger out there, that's the way it should be. Dantas, good distribution there to get it out to Rayleigh. Donatelli off the board. Rayleigh coming down the middle, and somehow the ball ends up in the goal on a big collision between Ruggles and, is that Chamali down there? Can't tell, or is that Max? That's Max. Had a big collision and the ball snuck through, but now let's see what happened to the two guys who were crumpled up in the middle of the Wave penalty area.
So let's watch again this goal here by Rayleigh coming through the box. Great run there. Ball gets behind.
Max gets knocked out by his teammate Drew Ruggles as they were both trying to converge on Rayleigh. You see Max got hit in the head, and Ruggles took Max's head right to the hip.
Triple whammy. Not only did you give up the goal, but you lose 2 players in the process.
And this game, and who knows, this season could be taking a bad turn for the worse for Milwaukee.
Well, role players starting to become a factor in this game. We saw Chamali score a goal in the first half for the Wave. And now here's Rayleigh, only his 4th goal of the season in his 17th game. And now Ferdinand up, holding his face. In fact, he might have got it in the mouth. I think the bigger question is the health of Drew Ruggles, who's still down.
Well, Wave can ill afford to lose either of these guys. Again, Milwaukee, since the first half of the season, has really battled injuries and just don't have the depth right now that they did during that first half of the season. It looks like Daniel Matos may be coming back soon. But Andre Hayne, probably still a couple of weeks away. I guess the good news on Andre is he did not have to have surgery on that MCL injury he suffered about a month ago. So ideally we could get him back in time before the playoffs begin.
You saw Ferdinand going back to the Wave locker room, followed here by Ruggles.
Jeremy Rayleigh, the former Maryland Terrapin, with the go-ahead goal, his 4th of the season.
We talked about the adjustment that Danny Kelly and David Bascombe made defensively with going a little higher on the Wave 1v1 players. And you see the adjustment of offensively. They've gone to the boards here twice to score goals in the second half. Ruggles choosing to stay on the bench. I'm surprised they haven't brought him back to the locker room just behind the Wave bench there.
Well, the tone has certainly gone quiet here at the arenas.
Well, it's gone quiet, Tom, but there's still 9 minutes and 12 seconds left. And a lot can happen in that period of time, as we've seen throughout the years. So Wave needs to regain their composure here and start taking it back to the Blast offensively. Play with a little more urgency.
Hopefully Super Mario and the rest of the gang here today on 80s Video Game Day can get the crowd pumped up.
Yeah, I didn't ask you, what was your favorite 80s video game, by the way? Do you have one?
Yeah, you know, what was the one where the saucers were coming down? you're trying to shoot them from the bottom there.
Space Invaders, I love Space Invaders, man.
Yeah,
that was a great game.
That was the one.
Asteroids was another one that I spent a fortune on.
Here's Marcio trying to get past his defender, centering it in front. Capino's got a paw on it. Now the ball played to the far side as Bennett battling Ricardinho ended up with a shot that was just off the mark. Good job by Vandegrift to keep the zone. Clear downfield, Lemos will go get it for the Wave.
And right off the bat, a positive shift here for the Wave. Putting the Blast back on their heels a little bit now.
Rayleigh's 4th of the year at 5:48 has put Baltimore on top 4-3. A 3-goal run by Baltimore after Milwaukee had jumped out to a 3-1 lead. Lemos knocked down, no call toward the empty nets. Shot and a goal. And if the tone of the crowd had been rather subdued before that, you can only imagine now. Check it out one more time on the Wisconsin Vision Instant Replay.
And that's the risk you run by coming so high. I thought it looked like a foul to me, but it wasn't called. We've seen that today. There's been some contact that hasn't been called.
Vinny Dantas from 3/5 of the field puts it in. And Dantas with his 2nd of the game, 19th of the year at 6:57 of the 4th period.
Some of the crowd booing here, Tom, but let's think back. You know, think back to the way this game has gone. Ferdinand gets away with a little push on the Waves' first goal. There's been a lot of contact that they've allowed to happen. And so if you know that, you put yourself in a situation, and that's what happened right there. You can't complain when it doesn't go your way and then ignore the fact that you may have gotten some calls earlier.
I don't think Jamie Thomas touched the ball, but he's probably thinking he should get an assist out of that play for that nice check that he threw on Lemos.
Well, he got position. He threw his body in position. Was it a foul? Yeah.
But I agree. You're not going to get all the calls, and Dantas did a good job of knocking it in from about 130 feet away. Lemos, he's going to crank one up here. Tried to find Hans at the far post, couldn't quite get it to him. Santos will head it back to his keeper. I guess the good thing is at least Josh didn't appear to get injured on the play. Some pretty hard contact. Wave has had their share of injuries as of late, including 2 in this period, with Ruggles and Ferdinand colliding into each other and both having to leave the game. Lemos coming up with Hoxie chasing him. Chino trying to work his way top of the area. He's dragged down Fowler's Skull. Haven't really been able to get Chino unleashed here too much today.
No, you know, unless you do things quickly against the Blast in the attack, your space is going to be limited.
De Oliveira getting called for the foul.
See Chino's foot get caught in De Oliveira's shorts there.
Santos will lay it off far side. Grable with a shot. Turned away. Mello will play it up ahead to Hoxie. He's got De Oliveira here on the near wing. Good double team by the Wave to free it up. 6:20 left to go in a very long 4th period as far as the Wave is concerned.
Well, how long has it been since the Wave last scored? Did they have 3 in the first quarter, Tom?
6:14 of the second period.
6:14 in the second, okay.
Tallied his 10th of the year from Ferdinand, who got his league-leading 29th assist. Milwaukee coming in as the 2nd highest scoring team in the league as far as total goals are concerned, but the Blast, one of the stingiest defensively as the ball goes out of play. Dos Santos had a great chance to shoot there, but it went off the side of his foot.
You know the old saying, Tom, defense wins championships. I've never believed it. I've always felt like, no, you got to have a good offense, a good defense, and you got to be good on special teams. But certainly if there's a better defensive team in the Major Arena Soccer League, I haven't seen it.
Monterey is pretty good.
Yeah, but you put Monterey in the Sekou Center in Baltimore. Got to think they're going to be allowing more goals in the Blast half.
Lemos now pushed up as a pseudo sixth attacker. Oh, Marcio and Ian, a little miscommunication there, and fortunately, foul called against Baltimore.
Well, you got to wonder how long will Giuliano Oliviero wait to go to the sixth attacker. Baltimore has struggled this year against the sixth attacker.
Marcio got it back from Ricardinho, cracks a good shot on goal. Capinos makes the save.
I'd probably say around the 4-minute mark is when I'd want to go sixth attacker. And maybe even sooner, given Baltimore's struggles against the sixth attacker this season.
That's about the only time they struggle sometimes is against the opposing sixth attacker. But when it's 5v5, they don't struggle at all.
Good restart opportunity. Sorry, Tom. It's got to be a timeout here and to set up a play. Important restart opportunity for the Wave.
There you see how it happened. Wave has not been too dangerous on restarts today, and as you said, Art, they're going to take timeouts. So Wave hoping to get one back here on a restart, make this a one-goal game coming down the stretch.
The problem is your lefty, Ruggles, out right now, and Matos, the other lefty, has been out for quite some time. Is this the spot on the field where this restart is tailor-made for a left-footed shot?
Where's Joe Reiniger when we need him, huh? He's probably going to be at the alumni game tonight in St. Louis. Ambush hosting the Cedar Rapids Rampage. We mentioned the other game tonight with Sonora hosting Turlock. Tomorrow, you've got Syracuse entertaining Harrisburg. Monterey will look to go 17-0 when they host the RGV Barracudas at Arena Monterey. And what should be a spectacular match tomorrow from Valley View Casino Center, the San Diego Sockers taking on Soles de Sonora. As I said, Sockers looking very impressive in Tacoma last night in their 10-3 victory. They will come in to that game with a record of 13-3, still undefeated in San Diego at 8-0. And Soles, which will probably come in with a 9-game winning streak after their game against Turlock tonight. Should go in at 11-6, 4-5 on the road, but this is a much different Soles team from the first half of the season to the second half. They're looking much more like the league runners-up for the last couple of years. Restart again, Wave creates very little, and Lemos now getting pressure from Santana, able to come back and get it back. Restarts not generated what the Wave is hoping for today.
No, not hardly. They've had a number of opportunities on them as well.
Corral back for Marcio. Still 4:20 to go. Bennett trying to see if he could dance around Healy. Couldn't do it. And then Ian's got to follow him on the comeback. Pat Healy, a pretty solid 1v1 defender, going up against one of the league's best in Ian Bennett. And boy, give credit to the Blast defensively, shutting down Bennett. Wave's leading scorer, second leading scorer in the league. 43 goals, and Ian has yet to put one in the back of the net today.
The Wave's got to really think about taking a timeout here. Still no sign of the sixth attacker.
Marcio trying to push it up, pass deflected. Here comes the Blast. They've got numbers coming back. Dantas trying to get through, got cut off. Wave starts back. Bennett with Tenzin Rampa, 2-on-5. Ian comes in with his shots.
Oh, and a foul called behind the play by Brian Miller, the ref furthest from the play.
Wow, Joey Capinos very emotional with the reaction there. So, free kick for the Wave.
Timeout here, Tom. That's got to be 6 attacker time here.
Pretty close to it. Yeah, I would have to agree. Looking down on the bench, can't see if Coach Oliviero is indicating he wants a timeout. But
5.
So Capinos did, in fact, get a yellow card, and they're going to send our old buddy, Jonathan Greenfield, over to serve the penalty.
It's interesting. He gets a yellow card, but Baltimore is allowed to make changes defensively because of the penalty. It doesn't seem right.
Jono just signed by the Blasts prior to this week. Oh, again, another restart. I would say restarts are going to take up at least a bit of time in practice heading into next week's game.
I'm not quite sure, Tom. Down 2 here with 3.5 to go. Still no sign of a 6 attacker for Milwaukee on the bench.
Now Bennett and Santos trying to come back. Ian will crank up the shot on the goal! Oh, what a shot by I-Plush. And the Wave back within 1 at 5-4, big time goal by Bennett.
Nice counterattack that time by Bennett. He found some space in the neutral zone and then put a ball up in the upper corner, a postage stamp. That time by Bennett. Capinos had no chance.
Look at this conversion. That's not off a free kick, fans. That's in the flow of play. Like Art Kramer said, you couldn't take a self-adhesive stamp and put it up there any better on that square. All right, here we go. 12:04, the time to score for Bennett. His 44th of the season and his 54th point overall. And that woke up the crowd here at Panther Arena.
It's only one way to do it, make a play. You want the crowd to get into it, you got to make a play. Bennett did that time.
Marcio coming forward, lays it off far side. Vega centering in front. And broke it up. I said Vega, that was Chad Vandergriff. Lemos has to come over and serve it downfield, and it just crawls over for a goalkeeper distribution.
The Wave with a good rush that time. Found Vandergriff deep in the corner, but he didn't have any angle to play that ball off the boards. Would have been better served to just go directly to the players in front.
Chad able to head that one away. Flicked on by Vega, but it'll bounce harmlessly to Capinos. Up it comes Santana. Vandergriff and Chamale double team, and Santana gets called for mugging down in the far corner.
Now the Wave needs to take a timeout here.
And they do at 2:02. Take a look at this one more time. Nelson it looked like he wanted to kick Vandergriff in the butt, but he held up just at the last moment.
Giuliano Oliviero, he's pulled all the right strings this year, Tom. I'm sitting there going, how come he's not going 6 attacker? We got to get a 6 attacker on the field. He must have known that Ian Bennett was going to fly through the middle zones and put one in the upper corner to bring it back within 1. Because that's playing your cards right there by Giuliano Oliviero. Now down 1 with 2 minutes left and the ball.
Wade has had to go 6th attacker too many times this year. Now remember, Ferdinand is out. He could be a potential 6th attacker.
That's too bad too, because it looked like Max just had an injury to the mouth. It looked like he got hit in the mouth, but they must have taken him back for concussion protocol.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Unlucky, really untimely. Untimely, not only because of the injuries, but that's when Rayleigh scored the go-ahead goal for.
Remember, Max is the only player in the league, I believe, that wears that full 90 headgear.
Even more irony. Looks like Ricardinho has donned the jersey. Oh my goodness, they almost gave it up right off the bat as Melo, standing in the passing lane between Marcio and Ricardinho, got called for a foul. That would have certainly put a dour tone on the rest of the game had Baltimore scored there. Trying to think if Ricardinho has served any sixth attacker time as of late. Dantas got called for the foul there.
Interesting choice of Ricardinho as the sixth attacker.
Well, again, they might be running out of options. Here's a throw upfield that Baltimore is going to track down. Yeah, injuries have really limited the Wave options, I believe, as far as potential sixth attacker here, but let's see what we can do.
Well, there you go. Phase one, get it out of your own zone. Phase two, get it deep. And phase three, put it in the back of the net.
They're going to leave Santos out there on the sixth attack. I can't recall ever seeing him out there for the sixth attack. Bennett trying to get top of the area. Cut off, taken away. Mello launching, and it's wide right. And he looks at it. Same two teams a week from tonight, Saturday, February 17th at 7:05. Call the Wave officer tickets, 414-224-WAVE, or order online, MilwaukeeWave.com. Redirection, back heel. Oh my goodness. As Santos stepped in with a shot that was high, well, I guess there was a reason for him to be out there in the sixth attack, and he had his chance, but could not deliver.
Nice initial ball by Hans Dennison. Found Bennett at the far post. Watch Bennett redirect this just wide, and then Santos on his left foot over the top.
Unlucky for Jonathan Santos and the Wave. Still 53.7 seconds left to go.
Got a double team all over the field right now if you're the Wave to win it back. And now Danny Kelly's going to take a timeout and allow his six attacker defense a little more rest here.
Well, it's been a great game today. Right down to the wire, as we sort of felt at the start of this thing, as typically it seems to go between the Wave and the Blast. We'll do it again a week from today. Same place, a little later in the day. 7:05 game time next Saturday nights. And again, Wave will have all week to mull this one over, make adjustments for next week. Blast will host Cedar Rapids on Friday night, so that is a team they definitely will not want to overlook. Cedar Rapids looks like the team that's probably going to play Milwaukee, Art, in the first round of the playoffs. Top two teams in each division qualify. Rapids right now at 8-9 look like they're on their way to face Milwaukee. And the home game for the Wave would take place here Sunday, March 11th at 1:05. So we aren't through with Cedar Rapids just yet this year. Can't get enough of Gordy Gerson and Bobby Hurwitz and the fellas.
The Wave right now with Vandergriff, Leite, Santos, Vega, and Ian Bennett. Lemos back in the goal here until the Wave wins possession.
Donatelli, Dos Santos, Santana, Healy, and trying to see who else is out there. Mello. So they brought back Josh on, plays it up Marcio. Trying to come 3-2. Marcio to Bennett. Ian looking to make a move, and he's hammered down by Santana. Foul is called.
Nelson Santana, very fortunate he didn't pull a 2-minute penalty there.
Oh, he was not going to let Ian go to the right. Wave tries a quick restart, but they're going to make him reset. He was not going to let Bennett go to his right. Watch this.
Oh. Yeah, that's a 2-minute penalty right there.
All right. Restart for the Wave. Maybe they've been saving up one big restart chance here. Marcio fires it in. It's blocked in front of Capinos. Bennett gets it back. 25 seconds ago, Ian sends it in. It's back heel redirected. Out of play, I believe, by Healy. Corner kick, Milwaukee.
And the absence of any lefties has really been hurting the Wave on these restarts. They've had a lot of them to Capinos' right side. So his pass across is a natural left-footed shot. They just don't have any on the field.
And it comes!
There it is!
Ian Marcio, we're tied at 5.
Well, we talked about having to play 60 minutes to beat the Baltimore Blast. You also got to play 60 minutes against that man right there, number 26, Ian Bennett. It took him 55 minutes to come to life, but come to life he did, as he has struck twice here in the last 5 minutes to tie this game up for the Wave. Restart magic by the Wave. Leite to Bennett. Great redirection that beats Capinos, and we're tied.
What a goal by the Wave to tie this thing up with 22.1 seconds to go. Bennett, his second of the night, 45th of the year at 14:38. Leite with the assist. Number 15 for Marzio. He's reached 30 points for the year.
You're seeing two teams with championship heart out here on display this afternoon.
Blast still with some time. Shot it in a goal. Donatelli. How many times has he done it for Baltimore and the Blast? Looks like they're going to come away with a victory here.
We talked about the heart of a champion, and that man, Tony Donatelli, he's been the #1 star in the last 2 games for the Blast, and looking like he'll be the #1 star here again tonight. Look at the left foot by Donatelli, beats Lemos to the far post.
Clinical finish for Tony Donatelli in the Baltimore Blast. 7.8 seconds left to go. Wave is really going to need a miracle now to force overtime. Donatelli, the veteran from Temple, his 19th of the season. Wave brings it in. Vega. Oh, they almost got a decent shot on, but Capinos able to cover up.
And a little extra curricular here at the end of the game. Walk away, boys. Walk away.
Still got to play him again next Saturday, and then the 23rd. Capinos getting right in the face of Hans Dennison. I didn't know Joey Capinos could speak Dutch that well, but apparently he must know a few terms. Dos Santos is down, and he might be hurting. Kind of amazing, Art. The Wave actually got the ball to the middle of the area.
It was a great ball by Leite that found Vega all alone, but not an easy conversion for Guilherme. And I tell you what, Tom, another epic battle between the Blast and the Wave. And as much as you hate to come out on the losing end of it, tell you what, this is all about entertainment, and what an entertaining game it's been here today.
Boy, what an amazing last minute of play. So with 7 seconds left to go, the Blast will have a goalkeeper distribution. Joey Capinos with a few words for the fans in the front row behind the goal, as he'll let them know he'll be back on Saturday with the Blast next time.
Not sure our Milwaukee people understand that Massachusetts accent that he's probably giving them too, though.
He rolls it in, and that'll do it. Well, it was a great game today. Baltimore Blast come out on top, courtesy of a goal by Tony Donatelli with 7.8 seconds left to go, and the Blast win at 6-5. That coming 15 seconds after Ian Bennett tied it up off a miracle corner kick restart from Marcio Leite. But that'll certainly give us something to look forward to in the rematch coming up Saturday night, the 17th. Wave loses its first of the year at the UWMP Arena. So Milwaukee now falls to 14-4 on the year, 8-1 at home, and the Blast win their 9th straight. Baltimore improves to 15-2, 6-2 on the road, and one more victory for the Blast of these next 2 meetings, and they're pretty much going to wrap up the top seed in the Eastern Conference, which could have bearing, of course, for the 1-game conference final, who's going to get home seeding. But Wave still has a chance. They've got 2 more cracks against these guys. The key thing again, Art, Wave has got to get some people healthy.
Well, no question about it. It'll be interesting to hear the status of both Ferdinand and Drew Ruggles, 2 important pieces to the Wave in their quest for a championship this season.
Not to mention Andre Hain and Daniel Matos. Robert Renault out for the season, as he had surgery this past Thursday on that ACL. So we won't see Robert anymore this year. But got to try and get a couple of these guys back. We are standing by to see if we will have Ben McNeil with our PCI hardest working player of the game. So bear with us, fans, as we will send it down to Van for our post-game interview.
The hat, but we want to talk about what happened there here at the last few seconds. How are you feeling?
Well, it was a tough game, you know. We had the lead in the first half of the game, and then we came to the second half, they kept the possession a little bit more than us. They wore us out. They came, went out and scored a couple goals that we made some individual mistakes, but that's the game. Now we have to beat them next week and go there and beat them there.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the physicality of this game. It got a little chippy out there at the end. You're holding your elbow here. You were hurt up a little bit. You're going to go see the team doctors and see what they have to say. But if it was bad today, what do you think it's going to be like next Saturday?
Part of the game, you know. Physicality on the indoor is always there. We battle hard, you know. Yeah. So now only we have to come back this week and practice even harder for next week, hosted them again here, come out with a victory.
All right, our hardest working player of the game, number 6, Guilherme Viega. Thank you, Guilherme. All right, so as he heads back into the locker room and as we say goodbye to our Wave players here, we are back in action next Saturday night. It's a 7:05 game against the same team well, you just saw what happened here. Milwaukee Wave 5, Baltimore Blast 6. So we'll set it up again. The big rivalry game next Saturday night, 7:05 here at UW Milwaukee Panther Arena. Under the director of Charlie Wise, Mike Jakubowski, Scott Johnson, Drew Rutherford, Sandy Max, my name is Van McNeil. Final score, Wave 5, Blast 6. We'll see you next Saturday here from UW Milwaukee Panther Arena.
All right, see you.